Today we're going to be reading The Lizard in the Sun by Alma Florada and illustrated by Felipe Davalos. The genre, it's a folk tale, so we've read several folk tales this year. And remember, a folk tale is a story that has been told for a long time by a group of people. We're going to look for a setting and characters from a long time ago, a lesson for readers. This is not new to you either. So we have our characters, our setting, and our story is the problem, important events, and solutions, which also we know as beginning, middle, and end. Our comprehension strategy is to monitor comprehension. Reread a page if you do not understand something. The whole world knows that the sun comes out every day. Some days it shines brightly in a clear blue sky. Other days clouds cover the sun and its light is much paler. When the clouds let loose their load of rain, the sun disappears behind a curtain of water. There are places where it snows. During a snowstorm, the sun also stays hidden. But even when clouds, rain, or snow hide in the sun, we know that it is still there. The story I am going to tell you happened a long, long time ago when the sun had really disappeared. It had been many days since the sun had come out. Everything was dark. All the plants, the animals, and the people were waiting anxiously for the sun to appear. But the sun did not come out, and everything remained in darkness. Now, why are the people and animals anxious or worried? Why are they anxious or worried? Well, in this paragraph, it talks about why they're anxious. It says, the animals and the people were anxiously waiting for the sun to appear, but the sun did not come out, and everything remained in darkness. So they're anxious because everything is dark and it hasn't come out for days. What are some things that can hide the sun? Yeah, so some things that can hide the sun are clouds, rain, or snow hide the sun. When does the story take place? A long time ago, or here it says in this bottom sentence, the story I'm going to tell you happened a long, long time ago. So it takes place a long, long time ago. The people were cold. The birds had stopped singing, and the children had stopped playing. Everyone was worried and afraid, for this had never happened before. The animals decided to go out in search of the sun. The fish and the turtles looked in the rivers and lakes, but the sun was not there. The green frogs and the wide-mouthed toads looked through all the puddles, but the sun was not there. The deer and the squirrels searched through the forest, but the sun was not there. The rabbits and the hares searched through the fields. The jaguar searched through the green jungle where he lives, but the sun was nowhere to be found. You spy those animals up there in the photo, the picture, illustrations? Now, what are the animals doing? What are they doing? You're right, they're searching for the sun. Now, why is everyone worried and afraid? Yeah, the sun is gone. It's disappeared. Everything has been in darkness for many days, and people are cold without the sun. We also know that we've learned from in science that we need the sun because the sun gives gives us energy and it gives our plants energies, and we need the sun to live. Now, here's the inference. Make an inference, okay? Why do the fish and turtles look for the sun in the rivers and the lakes? Why would they look for the rivers and the lakes, the turtles and the fish? Yeah, they're looking in places where they live, and like how the jaguar, he looked inside of the jungle because that's where he lives. Okay, next page. The birds searched through the branches where they had made their nests, and the majestic eagle flew over the mountain tops and the cones of the volcanoes. But no one could find the sun, and little by little, all of the animals stopped looking, all of them except for the lizard. The lizard kept on looking for the sun. She climbed rocks, scurried up tree trunks, and peered under leaves, searching, always searching. Finally, one day, she saw something very strange. She was scampering over some rocks when she saw that one of them was shining as though it had a light inside. See right there? The lizard had seen many rocks in her life. She had seen rocks that were smooth and polished, and rocks that were rough and sharp. She had seen shiny gray rocks and dull dark ones, but she had never seen a rock that shone as much as this one did. It shone so brightly that it seemed to glow. So with great excitement, the lizard ran off to the city to share her discovery. Now, where does the lizard search for the sun? You're right, she climbed up rocks, she scurried up tree trunks, and she looked under leaves. Everywhere she went, she looked. Why does the lizard think the shining rock is strange? It says the lizard had seen many rocks in her life. She had seen rocks that were smooth and polished and rocks that were rough and sharp. She had seen shiny and dark ones, but she had never seen a rock that shone as much as this one did. So there's something special about this rock. Okay, here's another opportunity to make an inference. Why might the rock be glowing? Explain. Why do you think that rock might be glowing? Well, you could think that you know that the sun shines brightly, and the sun might be behind or under the rock because the sun is very bright. So a rock might look as if it's glowing if the sun is behind it or under it. At last the lizard reached the city. Even though there had been no sunlight for many days, the people had kept on working. The barges floated softly on the waters of the lagoon, laden with fruits and flowers. In the enormous marketplace, the vendors had laid out their wares on beautiful woven blankets. The pyramids of fruits and vegetables looked like tiny copies of the great stone pyramids that loomed over the city. Okay, two more inferences we're going to make here. And remember, inference is when you take information or knowledge you know. The author doesn't necessarily tell it to us, but you are able to make a connection with what the author's not telling us. So why do you think the people kept working even though there has been no sunlight for days? Well, you might say that they don't know what else to do. They still need to buy food and sell things that they have made and grown, so they keep doing the things that they're used to doing. Another inference we can make here is, where is the person on the flower-laden barge going? And why do you think so? Where do you think this lady's going? This guy right here, sorry. Where do you think he's going? Well, you could say that he might be going to the marketplace to sell flowers because the author writes that the people kept on working and the vendors laid out their wares on blankets in the marketplace. So they're still doing their daily business. But without the sun's light, no one could use the brilliant colors of the peppers and tomatoes. Sorry. But without the sun's light, no one could see the brilliant colors of the peppers and tomatoes, the beautiful deep colors of the blankets and shawls. Instead, the flickering torches that lit the marketplace cast deep shadows. And instead of the cheerful bustle of people buying and selling and having a good time, there was a low murmur of worried voices wondering how long this endless night might last. Now, are the torches as helpful as the sun's light? Why do you think so? Now, I would think that the torches are not as helpful as the sunlight. The torches cast deep shadows and people cannot see colors properly. Now, the author describes what the market is like without the sun and compares it to what the market is usually like. Why does she do that? The author wants to show us and let us know how upsetting, different, and difficult life is like without the sun. The lizard did not stop to look at the barges or the market's wares. She did not stop to look at the silent crowd that walked through the plaza. Instead, she headed straight for the grand palace and did not stop until she was in front of the throne. Here, by the dim light of the torches, the lizard saw the great emperor. He wore sandals made of gold and a tall crown made of beautiful feathers. "Sir, I have seen a rock which shone with a strange light," said the lizard. "Move the rock so you can see why it shines," ordered the emperor. The lizard did what the emperor had commanded. She returned to where the rock lay and tried to move it. She tried to push it with her two front legs and then with her two hind legs, but the rock did not move. At last, sorry guys, at last, the lizard pushed the rock with her whole body, but the rock would not budge. Now, who does the lizard tell about the shining rock? She tells the emperor. That's this guy right here. Why does the lizard try to move the rock? She tries to move it because the emperor commands her to move the rock to see why it shines. Now, let's make a prediction here, okay? What would the lizard do now that she cannot move the rock? And why do you think this? What will the lizard do now that she cannot move the rock? Why do you think so? So you could say that the lizard would try a different way to move the rock or ask for help. She wants to do what the emperor says. Also, she does not give up. She has not given up looking for it, so I don't think she's going to give up looking to trying to move this rock like the emperor says. There was nothing left for the lizard to do but go back to the city. She crossed one of the wide bridges, passed by the marketplace, arrived at the grand palace, and went straight to see the emperor. She found him sitting on the same throne, surrounded by the smoke of the torches. "I'm very sorry, sir," she said. "I did everything I could, but I could not move the rock." The emperor wanted very much to see this glowing rock, so he decided to go back with the lizard. But first he called for the woodpecker. "I want you to come with us," the emperor said to the woodpecker. And so the three of them, the emperor, the lizard, and the woodpecker, went to see the glowing rock. Now, does the lizard do what you predicted she would do? Well, if you predicted what I predicted, that she'd go back and get help. So my prediction was right because I did predict that she was going to find help. Now, why does the emperor decide to go with the lizard? Yeah, he wants to go see the rock. He wants to see it for himself. Now, why does the emperor want the woodpecker to come with them? Why do you think he wants them to come there with them? So you could say that the emperor has a plan in mind for the woodpecker, and we don't quite know yet what that is. When they reached the rock, the emperor said to the woodpecker, "I want you to hit that rock hard with your beak."